Welcome, entrepreneur and marketers. This page was submitted by an entrepreneur and a student named Ilya. I believe she's in London. You have 30 seconds to answer this question. How would you improve the performance of this page? Think about it. But beware, because many times we start with the means, and we haven't, first of all, clarified the end. So I'll ask you a more important question. What is the objective of this web page? If you don't know the answer to that, it's very hard to get the answer to the former question. Now, as you think about that, let's look at the page together and see if we can determine it. Just scrolling through it, there seems to be many options. There's an iPath that is all over the map. Do I want to book a virtual consultation? Do I want to visit the showroom, request a brochure? Do I want to do something to get a room measured? On and on it goes. There are at least 4 sets of nav on the first screen of the home page. And as you scroll through, it cuts into 2 evenly weighted columns. You don't know where to focus. And the reason you don't know where to focus is because the designer of the page didn't know where to focus. Now, I happen to be very impressed with the actual work of Ilya Kitchens. They're beautiful, and they've won award after award. The danger that Ilya faces is a danger that you face. You may be so focused on delivering a remarkable product that you undermine yourself by not knowing how to deliver a remarkable message. So what can we do? How can we learn? Well, you know, the business world has enough big. What it needs is more beauty. Beauty is the right prioritization of elements, and every element on this page needs to be prioritized in order to serve the objective. So how can we amplify our conversion rate with a customer-first objective? In the last FAST class, I taught you how to structure objectives. This is an application session. And in the next few minutes, we're going to apply the teaching from our last session with a practical example submitted by one of our students. In doing so, we're going to discover 3 critical dangers. And then we're going to try to help Ilya get the objective right. This is not just for Ilya, this is for you. This is your chance to see the teaching in action. This is a way for you to think about applying it in your own life to your own work. So let's begin with those 3 dangers because we see them emerge on this page. Here's the first. The objective is diluted with competing options. You see, there are many good things on this page, but not the one right thing. And there's a difference between doing things right and doing the right thing. And what we need to have here is a clear, central objective. But the page, its elements, its message, well, they are diluted. Now, we need to be aware of that, and you may have the same problem. But let's go to another one. The second danger is this. Your objective is company-centric. That means you start with yourself. That means you engage your blind spot and focus on your own priorities. And therein is a way to lose. In fact, deep down and within the page, we found these words. We've been proud to win the Best of House Awards for the last 6 years in a row. And it is our key objective to solidify our company's place as the top German kitchen company in London. Now, if you want to learn, don't just listen, think. So ask yourself this question, marketer. What's wrong with this formulation? Now, it's true it may not be the page objective, it may be the company objective, but it suffers from the same mailing. What is it? Well, it begins with we, then it tells you, the customer, that we're proud, then it tells you that we've won. And by the way, those awards are powerful evidentials that you can leverage, but the way they are inserted here makes them an obstacle. We've won this award for the last 6 years and more. Listen to this. Our key objective is to solidify our company's place as the top German kitchen company in London. It's all about you, but it's not about the customer. There's nothing in there that translates those motives into something that's real and powerful and helpful to the prospect who's visited this page. And this is a common problem. I know that Ilya is likely a very good marketer. They've grown an organization and they are certainly good at their work. But she faces the challenge all of us face, which is we operate from our own center and we don't know how to get out of it and see the world through the center of the other whom we're trying to serve. Aristotle, thousands of years ago, said the same thing in poetics. In fact, he said, we have to get the scene, I'm going to quote, before their eyes, so that the outward form and figure, the word in the Greek there is schema, which we use today. It's so appropriate when you think about the architecture of a page, so that the schema of a character is appropriate, and that we, think of yourself, the marketer, enter into, see the Greek entois pathison, we enter into the passions of the character. Now that's powerful for you and I to think about as we structure objectives. If we don't start with the other instead of ourself, we can't see, we can't experience what we're doing wrong with our communication. That brings me to the third danger. That is, your objective conflicts with the sequence of thought. Oh, marketer, beware, beware, beware. So many times we neglect the fact that people don't go from no to yes in a single move. They do so in a series of micro yeses. I've taught this earlier. And you have to get every one of those micro yeses to win that ultimate macro yes. But when someone comes to your page, if you don't know where they're at in those series of micro yeses, in those stages, you may be talking to them with the wrong message at the wrong time. You say, well, I don't know how to figure that out. Good news. There's a download built by Dan Burstein. I'd like to take credit for it, but Dan did it. Dan's a senior editor working with us, director of all of our content. And it helps you think through where the customer may be so that your message matches their sequence of thought. And you can get the download. It's free. There are articles that explain how to use it. I don't want to take time more than to say that and to keep you learning with me right now, because we still have to help you. We're almost done. But this brings me to the most important part of this application session. How do we help Ilya right now? We've got to engage those three words I taught in the last class. To, by, and for. How do we engage those words in a way that will help Ilya focus her page? Well, the first one is about what we're going to do to help someone, to help them in a certain way, and who it is we're going to help. The next one is how do we affect that help? And that's by giving something. We'll come back to that. And the third one is in exchange for, now we finally get to our own interest, what we get in exchange for that help. But you'll notice the prioritization is there. And you may be in e-commerce or lead gen, or you may be a big brand who wants to impact them with the brand. In either case, this simple way to formulate an objective can be applied to your situation. Let me show you by talking about ways we could use this to help Ilya focus her page. Number one, to help, and then you've got to put in that person you've defined. And if you don't know how to do that, see a previous session where we set up 5 questions to ask to tame your data. So I'm just going to keep that define, market, serve to help by giving them, now this is where it starts to change. In this first case, it's a clear understanding of the primary value proposition. That's your company's main value proposition. That's what a big brand might do. And you're doing it in exchange for 3 minutes of their time, or 2 minutes of their time, or 5 minutes of their time. In this case, you're impacting them by trying to own a position in their mind. Here's another. You might be in the lead gen side. Maybe that's what Ilya wants to accomplish. So to help by giving them, and here we go, a 12-page brochure in exchange for their contact information. Do you see how that structure can help you focus your page? But perhaps that's not what you're after. Perhaps you're trying to move them through your home page into the best part of the site for them. Well, then it might be like this, to help by giving them a clear pathway through our offerings in exchange for their committed click. Finally, you might be trying to sell a subscription or a product. So again, it would be to help, and then again, by giving them a clear understanding of our product value proposition. That's different than your primary. In exchange for their committed click. That click moves them into the purchase process. These examples are designed to help you think about what we taught previously and how to apply it in your own situation. You're patient. You've been putting up with me as I try to work you through a lot of content in a short period of time. I want to thank you for your trust, and I welcome you to continue to interact in our communities we learn together.